Hello, everyone, and welcome to Backstage Pass. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Samantha Powell. That's Ben Barnard, and we're excited to spotlight some amazing guests on this episode. So they're going to be chatting a little bit about what to expect at ISE as well as around town in Barcelona. So we can't wait to share that with you. And Ben, I have already been ordering so many things at Amazon, so my cart is full. It's right around the corner, and I'm just so excited to hang out with you in Barcelona.
Well, I hope part of the cart that you're ordering is going to be comfy shoes, because last time we spoke about that, and that's absolutely paramount to get you through the day. But fingers crossed it is. Really excited to see you too, and to experience Barcelona together. Since we last spoke, eagle-eyed viewers, because obviously we're releasing this as an audio form, but those who are watching will notice I'm in a different room. I've actually moved house since we last recorded, so managed to get that done in between podcast records and kind of settled now, which is good. It wasn't the most relaxing experience as moving house tends to be, but here we are. We're set up. We've got our internet running, and everything seems to be going smoothly. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's cold here in the States. Well, where I'm at in Charlotte. What is it? Where is it? What's the temperature like where you are?
So I'm just outside London in the UK. It's been warm the last previous week or so, and just kind of dropping off gradually. And then this morning, freezing cold. It was I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, maybe 35, I guess. That's we do it in Celsius over here. It was basically zero, basically freezing. So. Yeah, it's pretty cold, but
I was thinking, moving during that time of year, probably not as fun. But then again, I guess if you're just doing a lot of manual labor and sweating, so maybe it's not that bad if it's a little cooler.
Yeah, exactly. There's that old proverb, the one who cuts the wood warms himself twice. There you go. That's a bit of
I have not heard that. I like that. I'm not cutting wood, but I'm going
if
to
you
remember.
did, yeah.
I have not acquired those type of skills. So, congratulations on the move. And I'm glad everything is working so we can have this podcast. So
Same.
Kudos to you. And since you're already overseas, and I'm excited to hop on that plane and get over there, I'm just really looking forward to all the sights and sounds of Barcelona. So I know you've been many, many times. And I've been one time before a while ago. And I just remember the amazing architecture and the food and the shopping. So in addition to making my Amazon list, can you help me make a list of where I need to stop and shop and eat? And where can I see all the amazing things Barcelona has to offer?
Absolutely. So interestingly enough, I have been to Barcelona a few times, and we've sort of explored the various kind of hotspots for tourist attractions, and they're hotspots for a reason. There's some really beautiful places. You've got the Gothic Quarter, you've got the Park Güell, which has the Gaudi Museum in there, which is fantastic as well, and you've got the Sagrada Familia, the big cathedral in Barcelona. So those are all kind of places that if you haven't been, you should definitely go and check out. I know a lot of people have been there. But in fact, it was last Barcelona, last ISE, where I was invited to a dinner with an organization called UNIS, and they represent a lot of the universities in Europe. And they invited me to a dinner that they were having with their members. And it was a place called Poble Espanyol, which a quick Google will take you straight there. And it's a super interesting place. It's just on the edge of the city, so it's slightly further out. And it's basically an open-air architectural museum. It was built in about 1929 for the International Expo in Barcelona. And the idea was that it would be a sort of an architectural museum to all the various different architectural styles of the Iberian Peninsula. So there, I think, are 117 actual buildings in this little area. And Poble Espanyol means Spanish town. But the idea is that the Spanish town would represent the architecture of various different parts of Spain. it was actually ended up being regarded as a complete failure, in the sense that it failed to capture the sort of like the essence of every single part of kind of Spanish architecture, because there are so many varying styles. You know, you've got Spanish, you've got Catalonian, you've got various other areas that aren't, you know, kind of aren't any way similar. So they couldn't, even though they have 117 buildings there, they just couldn't capture it all. But nowadays it's really interesting because they have a theatre there, they have museums, they have bars, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. And it very much feels like a little kind of citadel. And yes, so we went there for dinner, and having been to Barcelona so many times, it was actually only on my most recent trip that I discovered this place, which I think is probably my favourite. So getting out there is I would say a must. And you can, whether you want to see some shops or you want to have a drink or go and experience some food and that kind of thing, then it's just worth doing, as well as all the architecture that it exhibits too.
Well, I'll definitely have to hit that up. It sounds like that's my one-stop shop, so I can experience everything in just that area. So, okay, I'm going to have you, tell me the name again, once again.
It's called Poble Español. We'll go there. Don't worry.
Espanol. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to work on my Spanish and my accent, and I don't want to look like a super tourist. So I'll definitely have to do that. And then in terms of like restaurants, do I need to make reservations, or do you just show up? Because I know everybody eats so much later there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because obviously during ISE, the city is going to be much busier because of the show being there. So I would definitely say make reservations, because I think for you and I, as we discussed on the previous episode, you know, eating at a certain time, you know, we'd be happy to eat at like 6:30, 7:30, something like that. In normal times, we wouldn't have a problem booking a table, because none of the locals are going to be eating at that time, so it's not busy. Whereas when you're in Barcelona for ISE, it's going to be much busier even at those kind of times. So I would say definitely do your best to make a reservation. You may still get a bit lucky, because you know there'll be a lot of people still eating later because they're finishing at the show and maybe taking some time to get to the restaurants. But yeah, if you're looking to eat at kind of local traditional times, you definitely have to make reservations, because as we discussed before, they like to eat a bit later in Spain.
Okay. All right. So that is really good advice, as I'm a consummate foodie, and I will get upset if I cannot get into the restaurant that I had already searched for on TripAdvisor for months in advance. Okay. So I will start looking at places and making those reservations. So I appreciate all of your guidance. I will be leaning on to you for that. And I know, in addition to you, Ben, there's another person that I can reach out to who could probably give me the lay of the land of ISE as well as Barcelona, and that's Sanj Surati. So he's an innovation consultant, and I have had the pleasure of meeting him at Infocom, as well as interviewing him on Avixa TV. And he's an innovation consultant with the fashion and entertainment industry, and he is a fashionable man, I will say that. But he was able to sit down with our social media guru, Gibran Nassif, to talk about ISE as well as what to expect in Barcelona. So let's take a look at that.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Gibran. I'm joined by a very special guest, Sanj Surati here. And we're going to talk about a lot of great things regarding ISE. But before we get started, Sanj, just tell me about yourself and what you do.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks so much for bringing me onto this show. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Always a pleasure working with the guys at Avixa and ISE. A little bit about myself. So I call myself a digital atelier. Ultimately, I'm an innovation consultant. I work predominantly within the fashion, retail, and entertainment spaces, particularly with new and emerging technologies. And some of those technologies are specific to live events and launches and things like that, hence where I've worked within the audiovisual space. I basically got into that industry because I was really interested in this relationship between human behavior and how it was changing in this new digital world that's still in its infancy. And so over the last 25 years, been working with new and emerging technology, predominantly with businesses that are interested in working with these technologies to engage with potential customers. And that's allowed me to be creative and artistic using these types of technologies. So I currently run a company called Tiger Heart, which is about 6 years old now. Just running as a consultant, as a freelancer, have a small team that I work with, and we deploy installations all over the world, all over US, the Middle East, all over Europe, Asia, Australasia. That's how we work.
That's amazing, and I gotta say, I love that name, Tiger Heart. It just sticks out. It's really very unique.
So it's so interesting you say, because people always ask that, like, so what is Tiger Heart about? Well, the ethos is, for me, I like, tigers are very rare, but also like really ferocious. And so what I try to do is kind of bring that into the projects we work on. A lot of what we deploy is very unique. And is, if you see the projects we work on they're usually quite rare and ferocious initiatives.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Great stuff. So, going to Exchange Live, there's so many things that happen at Exchange Live every year. So tell us a bit about what Exchange Live is, and is there anything you'd like to highlight when it comes to Exchange Live at ISE this year?
Yeah, a really important question. So I've been fortunate to work with Avixa for a couple of years now, specifically with the Exchange kind of initiative. And the idea really is the audiovisual industry is humongous. It's huge. It's very lucrative. Like, everyone in the world needs audiovisual systems, and it could be all aspects of the full spectrum of the industry, whether it's integration, whether it's visual arts, whether it's communications. It's huge. And just over the years, there's never really been a place where this community, which is, huge, passionate, creative, artistic, has never really had a place to kind of converge and discuss the challenges, the issues, and the things that are happening within that space. And so Avixa is invested in the Exchange for that purpose, is to get people to connect in an interesting way, because this industry, even though it is niche, it's huge, and whenever you speak within the space, it can get lost out there, into the interverse, so to speak. So that's what the Exchange is about. It's about having conversations, trying to find like-minded people, try to also challenge the perspective of, what audiovisual means to different communities around the world, and also to bring those communities together. And the Exchange Live is a big part of that, because, you can have a fantastic conversation online, but really where deals and ideas get developed and get driven is through face-to-face. And that's what the Exchange Live is about, is to bring those communities together and to have debates within this industry, not just about the challenges, but also about the breakthroughs. And I really enjoy it personally, because you get to see how these communities communicate about different types of things, whether you're talking about artificial intelligence, which is a buoyant topic at the moment, or about different territories around the world. So, for example, last year, there was a real big focus on Latin identity, not just in Europe, but also in the US, and where they meet and where also they get to kind of decide where they're different as well. And I found that really interesting, because it educated me. But also you have some conversations about artistic expression. What we try to do is inspire the audience when they come to the Exchange Live, is not just go there to network, but also to listen and to hear, what's happening there at the moment.
Excellent. And we're very excited for Exchange Live. So everyone stay tuned for more updates about events and all that other stuff. So it's the 20th anniversary for ISE. It's just quite amazing how far this event has gone. So is there anything you're looking forward to at ISE this year? And then especially it being the 20th anniversary, what are some things you're excited about?
So really interesting question, because one thing I've noticed at ISE is that it's just grown dramatically year on year, particularly over the last 5 years. Last year was a real event because there was a real focus on artistic identity using audiovisual arts. The artist Rafiq Anadol was they really focused on him. And some of the exploration that he did over the last few years, particularly in Barcelona. But what I found out was, particularly last year, was that ISE is, it's not a European thing; it's a global thing, and the tone and the atmosphere there is very specific to how we integrate on a worldwide scale, and that conversation has grown dramatically over the last 5 years. So for it to kind of heat up into the 20th anniversary, I think it's a really important moment, because it's kind of like, for me anyway, ISE is kind of like the Olympics of the audiovisual space. So it's a real opportunity to have conversations about where audiovisual is going. It's a big opportunity for people to do deals, to actually meet people that they would never meet generally, and really have a frank conversation about how they can partner together, or how they can collaborate together to amplify their reach throughout the world. So yeah, as it heats up to the 20th anniversary, I don't know. I mean, last year we had, I don't know if they've always attended, but we had, I think it was the King of Spain or the Prince of Spain. I know it's an awful thing to say, but
yeah.
we had His Majesty, the King of Spain arrive at ISE to kind of formalize the opening of the event. So just from that, that kind of output a year ago to the 20th anniversary, I feel like we've got some special things that are going to occur. But don't forget also, some of the biggest audiovisual companies in the world are there, and for them to kind of really reaffirm their presence, it's their opportunity to do something spectacular at ISE at its 20th anniversary. So I think there's going to be some really exciting things that are going to occur. Whether it's a showcase of new technology, or these fantastic parties that occur, in the evenings in Barcelona, these industry parties that occur. I think there's going to be some crazy extravaganzas there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great, 20th anniversary. Definitely. So first timers, ISE is always growing, right? That means more people, new people are attending this amazing show. So what kind of, do you have any advice or tips for these first timers attending ISE?
Yeah, I think the first one is, and this particularly goes out to the territories that have never been to Barcelona before, is be prepared to be inspired, not just by what's happening at ISE, but also what's happening in Barcelona. The government there, the Catalonian government, really invests in making your experience at ISE in Barcelona something really special, because the Catalonian dialect, the community, the foods are very unique to Barcelona as Spain as a region. So make sure you invest some time in spending, doing a bit of sightseeing in Barcelona, because you'll be surprised. As I mentioned to you before, Gibran, Barcelona is one of my favorite cities in the whole world. I'm from London. London's incredible. I've been to New York's amazing. Paris is amazing. Rome's amazing. Lots of fantastic places in the world. Barcelona is one of those destinations. You are in for a treat. Some of the best beer in the world, some of the best food in the world, some of the best art in the world, some of the most beautiful buildings in the world. So that's from a tourist perspective. Also, ISE is a very unique kind of event. And what I mean by that is, I was at Infocom earlier this year, which was incredible. I had a great time. And it's a very kind of, East American perspective of the AV industry, which is amazing because, obviously America as an AV space is very lucrative and there's a lot of great things happening over there. But you'll be surprised just how much of a gateway to the rest of the world ISE is, from an audiovisual perspective. There's lots of things happening on a biblical level, just like they happen at Infocom, but there's a different kind of tone, a different kind of artistic approach, which I think a lot of people that have never come to ISE before will get a lot of benefit from. So really make sure you open your eyes and make sure you're prepared, make sure you're rested to experience ISE, because it's huge. It's a huge event. I think it's like 5 halls, so much going on there. So yeah, make sure you're rested before you enter into the kind of jungle that ISE is.
Yeah, that's a good one. Jungle, definitely. So feeding on to your points earlier with places to go check out in Barcelona, I had that. I'm going to feed off of that question. Like, what are some great things to do, like during the show, after the show, or people come before the show? What are some places or attractions or maybe districts, people should go check out when they're in Barcelona?
Yeah, I mean, if you've never seen any Gaudi stuff, like, he was a genius from an artistic perspective, from an architectural perspective. Go and check out all of that stuff. It's quite, it's very unique, very unusual. There is, the food there is amazing, like Barcelonan food. Try and get into some of the small restaurants. It's always worthwhile booking. You'll be surprised people don't go out to eat until about midnight in Barcelona for dinner, and you'll turn up at these restaurants at like 10 o'clock and they'll be like dead, and then as it heats up to midnight, they're like packed full of families. People will have their newborn babies there, and you'll be like, what the hell's going on?
Oh wow, yeah.
It's a really, really cool, just get some tapas, a couple of beers, or maybe a bottle of wine. It's wonderful. All different regions of Spain are very different, very unique, and the Catalonian culture and food is very interesting. The government there is really invested in making it a really comfortable place to travel around. So get on the metro and just start visiting some of these spaces around Barcelona. The Jewish district is really interesting because you get that Jewish and Catalonian influence put together. There's some really gorgeous Arabic parts of Barcelona. If you get down to the beach, people are playing volleyball there sort of midday onwards during the siesta time. It's a really good place to go shopping. Barcelona is a wonderful place. You'll love it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for all of these great tips and advice and insights into Exchange Live and ISE. We're very excited to see you there as well. And we hope everyone got some great information from this interview. And stay tuned for more interviews. And Sanj, thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me. And those of you listening, I'll see you at ISE at the Avixa Exchange Live.
All right. See ya.
Fantastic interview there from our colleague Gibran interviewing Sanj Surati. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Sanj as well at the last ISE in Barcelona. And as you say, Sam, incredibly fashionable gentleman, really great energy as well. He was on the Exchange Live booth and so doing a lot of comparing there. It was just a real pleasure to meet with him, to chat with him, and I'm really, really pleased to see that he's joining us again this year. So that's amazing, and also just the interesting things that he mentioned about the Catalonian government being really behind the show and really kind of enthusiastic about wanting it to succeed. It really is borne out by the kind of support that they give. I know that every attendee gets a free metro pass to use during the show, which is fantastic because there's a metro station under the Fira at Barcelona, so people can get to the show easily, but they can also explore the city later on after the show hours. It's
every
fantastic.
Attendee gets, so when do they get that?
So as soon as they arrive, they can pick that up. I think maybe even some of them get it with if they've ordered it beforehand, they can get it at their hotels. But yeah, certainly at the Fira, you can pick up the pass for the metro. So
we don't have to do anything to get it.
No, it's everyone. I think it's your badge for registering for the show. You can get your free metro card for the week, and then also, I mean, last year they also had the King of Spain coming and walking around the show, which was just another level. Like that's fantastic that they've got that support. It's really good. And also, as we were talking about just before that interview, Sanj mentions about being ready, for the culture of eating. In Spain and Catalonia specifically, they like to eat late, as we keep referencing. So anybody who's listening to this podcast, if they arrive in Barcelona and don't and haven't taken heed of that, and agree to a dinner with someone and wonder why it's set at 9 p.m. in their agenda, we're explaining that to you now. Okay, so make sure you listen. You listen well, and have a snack at like 3-4 p.m. or something. Just to get you through. Do you reckon you'll be able to manage that, Sam?
Oh, I tend to eat late anyways, so I fit in perfect with this culture. So
Good.
Yeah, that's fine with me. And if need be, I'll snack on like tapas throughout the day. But I'm fine with that. And I'm a night owl, so that works. So
Good.
I'm okay with that. Now, are the meals like, are they large? Are they smaller? I know in America here, we've got our Cheesecake Factory style size meals, which one plate is like enough for 3 people. What can we expect when we go over there? I assume probably smaller portions.
Yeah, so I mean, that's funny you mentioned that, because I remember one of the first times I was in the States, I was there for probably like the 3rd or 4th time I'd ever been, was for the Infocom show a few years ago. And we went out with a few colleagues to a bar or a restaurant, used to like get some food, and they ordered some stuff, and it came and it was really good. We had like some spinach dip and some various other things. It's really good. I feel I had a good meal. It was great. And then they cleared the plates away and they said, right, so now we're going to have the mains. I was like, sorry, what's? So I thought that portion was massive. Then the rest of this food come out. Honestly, it's American portions. Impressive. In Spain, tapas, as you mentioned, snacking on things like that, that's a big thing. So tapas is a popular thing. So lots of little dishes, which is fantastic because it means you get a small amount of lots of different things and you get to try stuff. So if you've got a particularly adventurous palate, then it's really good to kind of explore the menu. Don't be overwhelmed though, because obviously when you have all those options, the menus can be quite long. So just work your way through it, have a look, see what you like. If you want some meat, some fish, potatoes, vegetables, all those kind of things like padron peppers, I know are very popular, and all that kind of stuff. But I would also say Catalonia, where Barcelona is, has its own style of food as well. So I think if people are looking for recommendations for restaurants and stuff like that, Barcelona is full of fantastic restaurants, and you can do a quick Google, do a TripAdvisor, something like that, have a look and see what's what. But if you want to get a really authentic experience, I would say just search out Catalonian food, so Catalonian restaurants and that kind of stuff. That would be my top recommendation.
Oh, so that's good to know. Okay, so look for Catalonian food. All right, and I'll have to do that. So, and like some of the main items that you would find in that type of cuisine consist of, it's a lot of meats and cheeses.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of fish as well. Barcelona being by the coast, you're going to have a lot of seafood. So cod, I know, is very, very popular in the dishes. And then you've got, I believe it's called creme catalana or creme catalan, I think is a dessert, which is really nice. It's a bit like a creme brulee or something like that. That's also very good. But I would actually say that's one of the few things in terms of portion size that you may just want to get away with sharing with someone, because we had one in a restaurant once, and I think all of us ordered one, and it was like quite rich. So you can maybe share that with someone. I think that could be a good idea.
Okay. And I know Sanj was saying that, that Barcelona also has a lot of various varieties of beer, which I never really thought of. I'm thinking, a lot of wines and things like that for our friends who are beer lovers and connoisseurs. What can they expect there?
Yeah, so lots of. I mean, I would say that they have the big ones. You like your Estrella. That's a big Spanish beer. That's something that you can definitely see all over the place. But also because there is that kind of beer culture. Again, going into bars and restaurants and just sort of seeing what they have, and even asking in the the waiting staff, what have you got that's local? What can you recommend for a local beer? Microbreweries and stuff like that. Very popular in the UK. I know they're popular in the US as well, and it's no different in Spain. So they have lots of things like that. So go in, have a word with the locals. Try and find the smaller establishments that may be supporting local brewers and that kind of stuff, and ask for recommendations. That's always a good way to go.
I love that. Okay. When we're not, spending hours on the floor at ISE, if you have time to do that, right? Go find a good pub and
Exactly.
Well, it's not a pub over there, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure there are a few that have kind of like stylized their establishments based on the pub. Because I mean, the British pub is such an establishment, isn't it? It's something that's been going for many years. Speaking of things which have been going for many years, next up we have my colleague Carrie Johnson speaking to Joe Hosken. Joe's been head of content for ISE for the last 10 years, but been involved with ISE from the very start. And Carrie and Joe are going to talk about some exciting things happening at ISE 2024, including a couple of surprises for anyone who's a fan of digital signage, and also for people who might be fans of the Barcelona Football Club. Over to you, Carrie.
I'd like to welcome Joe Hosken, Head of Content with ISE. Joe has been with ISE for almost 10 years, but has been involved with ISE from the start of things nearly 20 years ago. I know things are very hectic with this time of year, with it being holiday season and getting ready for ISE, which is almost a month away. So I appreciate you joining us today, Joe.
It's a pleasure, Carrie, and thank you for reminding me that it's only a month away.
Only a month away. You're welcome. So let's kick off things. And can you tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, a little bit about myself. I'm the head of content at ISE. Been involved with ISE for pretty much almost a decade. Prior to that, I worked in publishing. I was a magazine publisher at United Business Media. Worked there for 25 years. Publishing director for 10. And I've been, my connection with ISE goes back right to the beginning, to the first show in Geneva, where I was the publisher there of the show guide, and been to every show since, seen it grow, seen it thrive. So that's the connection.
That's perfect. And that's great. I mean, especially with it being the 20th anniversary of ISE, you've been there from the beginning. You've raised this little baby, and they are now a young adult.
It's been fascinating, and it's been fascinating to observe and been very exciting to be part of it. So, yeah, it's great.
So since you are head of content at ISE, can you talk more about ISE's vision for content this year?
Yeah, well, I guess some of it's in the name. As you like, the slogan this year has been the destination for innovation. So in all elements of the show, that's what we've worked hard towards achieving, presenting. You'll see that on the show floor. There's 8 halls, with the world's leading brands, split up into some well-established areas and some that are new. We have a new lighting and staging area in Hall 1 for the first time. Content production and distribution moves to Hall 4. And we have an expanded audio demo rooms and our sound experience in Hall 8. So overall, there's a lot more space, a lot more exhibitors, a lot more of the brands, I guess, that people would want to see or hope that would be there. So that's what you're going to find on the show floor. And I would point anyone, just go to our website. We have an A to Z or A to Z listing there for you. You can see who's there and do your plan before you come. But also, on the show floor around the content, we wanted to we worked hard to put together a program of content that would allow, say, the casual visitor or somebody that just wanted to get a taste of a session and some experts, some thought leaders and some experts. So on our show floor in Hall 4, there's a really big show floor theatre there. It's our main show floor theatre, seats 500. And throughout the day, each day, they'll be free to attend content sessions, themed sessions. It's got some fantastic stuff. All can be seen on the website. These are called our Tech Talks, English Tech Talks Espanol. And then each day, these will be interspersed with keynotes by leading thought leaders and experts. Again, you can find the details on that on the website. So that's going to be taking place on the show floor. Also, if you're interested, if you want to learn as well and be entertained, then free to attend content is available in Hall 2 at the CDS Smart Home Technology stage, or in the Avixa stage with the Avixa Exchange Live, which has theme content again each day. All very pertinent stuff. So please go to either the CD Avixa or ISE websites, put together your program based on that. But if you're interested in perhaps getting a deeper dive and a deeper look, a lot of the sectors that are covered in the show, then I would encourage you to go and look at our paid for content program. Now, these conferences take place either for a full day or a half day. These take place upstairs on the walkway in the dedicated conference suite there. And they covered areas range from live events, digital signage, education technology, smart workplace. They've got some great chairs and they've got some fantastic speakers. This is stuff that you need to pay for to attend. But it's a great program put together, working with Avixa on this. Also, up there, we also have a partner stage, and this features some of our great partners that we work with. These are largely Barcelona, Catalonia organizations, such as Talent and Knowledge, AV Cluster, Barcelona Council.
You just mentioned so many different things, content-wise, within the show floor, within the conference rooms, audio demo rooms. Is there anything else that you specifically are looking forward to at ISE this year?
4:00 on the Friday.
Yes, I think everyone might be, at that point.
No, honestly, joking aside, I think I've been involved with the show and working with it now for the best part of a decade, and I can honestly say I think this has got the most compelling mix of everything that we've wanted to bring together. And there are still things that we've not announced yet, actually. So there could still be some surprises, and that could still be revealed. But I think in terms of the content program, the profile of the exhibitors, the efforts that our partners are putting in to it, it's just reached a new level. And I think that's what we do. I would say one thing I'm looking forward to, because in typical ISE's fashion, right, it's going to be a bit late in the day when we complete it, but it's also going to be very exciting and well worth it. And that's the big screen that's going to be installed. It's going to be Europe's largest fixed screen, I think, used in an exhibition hall. It's going to be outside entrance 2 when you approach the show. This is being installed by the FIRA, and ISE is going to be the first event that's actually used it. So the ISE team at the moment are working really hard on putting together a program of content that attendees, as they rock up for the show, they'll be able to stand back and be amazed at what they see. So we're working very closely with one of our keynote speakers at the moment in putting together a program. It's Jeroen van der Most, Jeroen is an incredibly well-renowned and respected digital artist. He's given a keynote on the Wednesday of the show, and he's also programming a piece of digital art called B Barcelona, which brings together AI to kind of recreate his creative brain, as he describes it. And you'll be able to see what he's working on this screen when you come to the show. So in many ways, it kind of sums up what ISE is all about. We're trying to integrate the content. So not just have good keynote speakers, great keynote speakers, but to actually show people what they are capable of doing. And we also are working with Sophia Crespo, another digital artist. She's creating an artwork that will be projected onto the Casa Batlló Gaudi designed building in Barcelona. That'll take place earlier in the week. So this is how the show's evolving, we're kind of, it's now become show and tell, if you like, as well as just the telling. So it's evolving quite quickly in terms of what we're able to, it's evolving quickly in terms of how the ambitious targets we're setting ourselves.
So there are many people, as you mentioned, that will be attending ISE. It's going to be the biggest in years. So is there any advice you'd like to offer people attending ISE for the first time? Anything that they should attend and stop by within the show? And then also outside Barcelona, any type of recommendations you might have?
Yeah, so the advice is all come on the Friday, please.
No other day, just Friday.
Friday's great. No, Friday is really good because, like with most exhibitions, Friday tends to be quieter, but you can see everything, get around. No, I would say for first timers, anybody there, look at the website. Read the digital edition of Rise magazine, which has just been published. So plot your journey. You wouldn't, if you were going to go to a shopping mall, for example, you wouldn't just turn up and then start wandering around in circles, So an ISE is of that scale. So plan your visit to make the most of it. Try and combine exhibitor booth visits with perhaps some of the free to attend content or the networking opportunities or meeting up with some of the organizations and associations that we collaborate with. Because there's a lot there, and it would be a shame if you miss it. The other thing I would say, which is really important, is make sure you print your badge off before you come. So register for the show. You can register now. It's very easy to get a registration code, which is free of charge. Register now, and then in January, you will be able to download the app, print your badge, come along. And so we're hoping for, to enable the crowds of people that we do get there so we can get them into the show as quickly as possible. But they're the main bits of advice. Do your homework, print your badge, come on Friday as well as the other days. And also perhaps, if you haven't done so already, consider staying for a couple of days in Barcelona. There are lots of things that you can do, on a social level, but also a lot of stuff there. If you ever again look at our website, look at the tech tours we've got. So we've kind of identified a number of locations in the city. We organise tech tours. We take 20, 30 people at a time to visit them during the show hours. But these tech tours are available for, anybody. You just need to turn up and pay a small amount, or some of them are free. You can just attend. But if you're interested in the latest state-of-the-art AV in different applications, you can do it. It's all on the website. And that's something you could perhaps do to combine on a Wednesday. And if you're interested in football or soccer, as you would say, Kerry, we're just in the process of, it'll be announced in January. We're working with Barcelona Football Club, so we can get you discounts. There's going to be some discounts on 2 football matches that take place during the ISE week. And so we're going to be announcing that in early January. So I'm giving you, some advance information of that. So there's a heck of a lot going on.
Well, I want to quickly say thank you, Joe, for spending time with us. And like I said earlier, with the busy holiday season and gearing up for ISE, I know everyone's time is kind of slim. So I appreciate you being flexible and talking with us just a little bit and giving our viewers some insight into what they can see at ISE this year.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for asking me, Karen.
Well, that was a really interesting interview, and I really appreciate all of that information about ISE and more things to look forward to in Barcelona. And I couldn't be more excited that my very first ISE experience happens to be at the 20th anniversary. So I think we did good.
Absolutely. And what an amazing thing that Avixa have been along for the ride for 20 years. And the show just, going from strength to strength is absolutely fantastic. And, the fact that we're gathering so many incredible people along the way to sharing the experience with us and share their expertise and all that kind of stuff. It's so inspiring. It's fantastic. Really, really excited to get to that next show and to see you there as well, Sam.
Absolutely. So I'll send an early Happy New Year's to you, Ben, and also to everyone watching and listening. And for Ben Bernard, I'm Samantha Powell, and this is Backstage Pass.